Real quick, if you're just getting started in woodworking, I want to save you some money and help you out with all the tools that you're going to need. I have a free guide on how to get started for under $1,000. Be sure to download it at mytoollist.com. Plywood is one of my favorite building materials. It's perfectly flat, it's easy to build with, it's easy to cut, and it's free from expansion and contraction concerns that you get with solid lumber. But it has one potential drawback: its edges. Usually they aren't the most attractive feature to a project. But then again, sometimes they are, which brings me to my first option of what to do with edges, and that's to feature them. There's no law that says plywood edges have to be concealed. In fact, a few years ago, plywood or visible plywood edges became quite popular. I think there's a lot to be said for embracing the material that you're using to build a project and showcasing it. Exposed plywood edges are humble and they kind of give off a modern industrial vibe. If you're thinking about doing that, I suggest using a quality plywood such as Baltic birch, which will have more plies and fewer voids and imperfections than builder grade plywood. Plywood is a perfect building material for projects that are going to be painted. In many cases, you can just paint right over the edges and the plies will be fairly concealed. If you want to make them completely invisible, you can fill the edges with spackling or wood filler before painting them. Iron-on edge banding is amazing. I've used it on countless projects and it always looks great. Edge banding is real wood, it's veneer, and it's available in all different species depending on the type of plywood you're using, whether it's pine or cherry or whatever. Using it is easy, you just simply iron it on. I have an old iron just for this purpose. You press it down, then trim it flush with a razor, a trim router, or there's a special tool you can get just for this purpose. Once it's in place, you can sand it, you can stain it and finish it, and your final piece will look just like solid lumber. Probably the classiest, fanciest way to conceal plywood edges is to cut out strips of solid wood and glue them to the edges of the plywood. You're probably used to seeing it. It's very common to see on face frames that are made out of solid wood to hide the edges of cabinets. You can use matching wood or a different species to highlight the trim. The trim can be as thick as you like, or you might want to make wider strips for shelves to give them a beefier, more substantial appearance. One other drawback to using plywood is that it's big and heavy and can be difficult to manage. So I want you to watch this video next with tips on how to handle plywood, how to move it, how to haul it, and how to break it down yourself. Thanks for watching.